Welcome to the Buy Box Experts podcast. We bring to light the unique opportunities brands face in today's e-commerce world.
Hey, and welcome to the Buy Box Experts podcast. This is Eric Stopper. Today's episode is brought to you by Buy Box Experts. Buy Box Experts takes ambitious brands and makes them unbeatable. We are in Q4. I'm sure you're stressed. I'm sure you're out of inventory. Come and hit us up. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to help you expand your business. Our consultants have been particularly interested in helping you find new territories for growth inside of your existing product lines. We want to be able to help you find a niche. So go to buyboxexperts.com, click on the free analysis button, and you'll be connected with me or a member of my team. Today, I am so pleased to be joined by Nick Staggy, CEO at VidArmy. VidArmy is a video production company that makes professional-grade content accessible to companies of all sizes. On their website, they say get video for as low as $4.99. Nick was previously at GoPro, Skullcandy, and Zoomies, and he is the host of the Ordinary podcast. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
So I know we were talking a little bit before the show, and you said that our listeners might not quite be interested in the the little breathing reed that you have around your neck, but I want to start there, man. Talk to me about that thing that you got around your neck.
Oh man, well the truth behind that story is for years and years, like 30 plus years, I've struggled with anxiety and depression. I've always felt like I had to hide it. In fact, I recently just found these poker chips that I would play with, and because they helped soothe my anxiety, but I was like always playing with them at work. And when people would ask me like, what's up with the poker chips? I would tell them, oh, I have a gambling problem. That's a true story.
So you'd rather tell them you have a gambling problem than an anxiety problem.
It's 100% the truth. As ridiculous as that is, not bashing people with gambling problems. I love to hit the tables myself, but look, it was easier for me to just say I have a gambling problem than to say, yeah, I struggle with anxiety and depression. I thought that people would limit me in opportunities and responsibilities that I would have. I thought that people would look down on me or whatever the case might be, right? And over the course of the last few years, I've been very open about my struggles and the realities that I deal with, and I've also been pretty open about the ways that I try to cope with it. One of the things I've done is 75 Hard, which, man, oh man, if you want an intense podcast, go listen to Andy Frisella talk about 75 Hard and that model. But that really kind of like fundamentally reshaped a lot of who I am and how I think about mental fortitude and toughness. And it put me on this path where I started looking at the biology behind it. And part of the biology behind anxiety and stress and even depression is breathing. And most people, they don't fully breathe in or fully exhale. So hundreds of years ago in Japan, they figured out that if they breathe out through long reeds, just naturally, it would help them exhale more fully. And by doing so, it would relieve the muscles. It would open up your body. It would do these things. So I saw this online and I bought it. It's called a Komoso. And man, it's awesome. I do breathing exercises a couple of times a day through it. And it's just kind of grounding. And it's almost a form of meditation. I love it. I know you're doing ice bath and Wim Hof stuff. I mean, it's in that same vein. And I just think it's important that we take care of ourselves. One, by being open about what our needs are and our realities are. And then two, sharing best practices or techniques or tricks that we use to help keep ourselves mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy.
Totally, man. Thank you for sharing that. I've been doing the Wim Hof breathing. I feel absolutely invincible. It's interesting for men and women, anxiety and depression manifest in such different ways. Like when my wife is anxious or depressed, it manifests itself as this like absolute like a pressure, like a weight on top of her, like she can't get out of bed. And for me, it's this this feeling of being behind. Like I feel like there's something chasing me, and I can't get away from it, but I'm like stuck in my seat. And so for anybody listening that's struggling with any of this stuff, like the most useful thing on your Apple Watch is that breathing timer, where it says, hey, you need to breathe. Do it. Turn off all your other BS social media notifications and just let your $500 Apple Watch be your breathing guide. I think it prompts you like 2 or 3 times a day, because your whole life will get better.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Our CEO talks about every Friday we have a sync, and his name's Joe Hansen. The only things that he really talks about, he gives you updates about the company, where we're all at and everything, but he talks about how burnout in the workplace, what impacts that, and how it can decrease how to decrease your threat level, and how to just decrease like the amount of stress that you have in the workplace. And he says, look, you gotta limit your social media and your news, and you've got to have a plan in place for when the anxiety starts creeping up on you. When you feel like the lion is at your door, you've got to have your spears and all your stuff ready to defeat it. And so everyone in our company is on this path at the same time. And I guess a good question for you, because you have such a great focus on mental health in the workplace. Your team has grown at VidArmy. And so how have you guys helped your employees kind of institute things that help them with mental health? What's kind of the guidance that you are as the CEO shaman of your company?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's so hard because everybody is different. Everybody is, hopefully they're on their path, but they're all at different stages of their path and where they're at. And so for me, the first and most important thing to do was to try to create an environment where people knew that above all else, you be you because you're awesome and you're enough. And that means that you can be vulnerable with things that you're dealing with, whether that's a project at work or an increase in stress levels. But I want to just create an open dialogue where the team knows you can share yourself with an individual on the team or the team as a whole, and know that not only will you not be judged, but you'll be embraced for it. And so making that happen, there's so many ways that and things that you can do to try to make that happen. But I think it starts with the leadership team being open and being vulnerable. And then the way that we react when someone does show us a hint of, here's something that I'm dealing with and struggling with. So that's a part of it. The second is that we are just very open with the concept that our team they're the priority. The employees come first for us, and we value taking care of them and being a team first sort of environment. Just last week, we had a customer that despite many conversations and interactions, continued to be really negative, disrespectful, combative, and didn't want to play by the rules of the contract that we agreed on. And so I reached out to this client of ours, and I said, we appreciate that we try to do business together, but at this point, we're going to refund your money and you can go find another agency to work with, because the environment that you're creating for my team is not something that I will allow. And despite us talking about this, it hasn't changed. So we wish you nothing but good things, and we hope that you're successful. We just won't be a part of being that success with you. So there's a lot of examples of things that you can do, but I think sometimes it's putting your employees ahead of revenue. I think sometimes it's about being vulnerable. I think sometimes it's about embracing team. I think sometimes it's about getting everyone in your company set up with headspace so they can meditate when they want. Like there's all sorts of things that you can do, but it really comes down to just being open and embracing to your team.
Totally. I love it. With with this remote thing, are you guys all still in your office, or is everybody pretty much remote at this point? It's gotta be
We
hard.
let our team. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's gotta be hard for a video production agency to not have some sort of like single location that you can go to shoot like, studio video.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have our own office / studio, and our film crew obviously has to be on set. So we help them practice safe social distancing, and we go through good protocol to make sure that they're protecting our clients and that they're protecting themselves. And then for anyone else, you can kind of come and go as you want. We ask that when you come into the office, you're respectful of others, you're respectful of the environment that we're in, and but there's absolutely zero pressure for someone to be in the office or not. I think at this very moment there might be 3 of us in the office. Last week we had a moment where there were like 18 or 19 of us in the office. So I think the key there is it's more about the output than it is about the input. It's more about the reality than it is about the perception. So I let the team manage themselves and be, take on, call it an owner's mentality, if you will, but where they want to be is where they want to be.
Okay, right on, man. How, I have lots of questions for you. I want to switch gears and let's talk VidArmy.
Okay.
So the economics of the business model are very puzzling to me, in that most video production agencies, they charge a whole bunch of money for like one video. And I guess it kind of depends on the type of video that they're going for. You have some like, the famous ones here in Utah. You had Harmon Brothers did Purple and
Squatty Potty,
all those types of ones.
Their work is outstanding.
Yeah. So talk to me about kind of the scale, the quality, like how the business model works, and how you guys got it started, and how the market has responded to everything.
Yeah, well, video is a funny thing because no one needs to be sold that video works. If you're running digital ad campaigns, well, if you have videos to A/B variant test against, you can increase your conversion and maximize your ROAS. If you're a company that was customer facing and was reliant on personalized interaction, then video is something that can humanize you and keep you connected to your customers. If you have a complex product, video can help simplify that product and showcase the features and benefits. So there's so many things that video does, and people just know it. The problem is people have been afraid that it's too expensive and they can't afford it, because who has the budget to go hire Harmon Brothers? And when you do, their work is great, but who has that budget? And even if you do have the budget, it can be really hard. It's a challenging thing to create video. And so VidArmy's idea is everyone deserves video. We should make it accessible to everyone. And if we can eliminate those 2 hurdles, maybe we have something here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we offer video for as low as $500, but we do video that is in the 6 figures, and we have a balance. Now, the vast majority of our clients are clients that are spending hundreds of dollars to create multiple videos. We have a smaller set of customers numerically that are running big production type video with us. But the way that we make that happen is, one, you hire in-house and you take people that are individually skilled at either the pre-pro side the filming side or the editing side, but they may not be, the editor may not be passionate about filmmaking. But if that editor is a freelancer on their own, they also have to get behind the camera and film, or they have to partner with someone who likes to film but doesn't like to edit. And so when you start hiring out freelancers, it becomes really expensive, and it becomes disjointed. But from the freelancer side, it becomes really hard to know who to partner with. It becomes hard because, wow, I'm really good at editing, but now I also have to be good at sales and marketing and finance and, even just basic things like setting up a business license. So we pull in a team of very specialized employees, and we tell them, we're going to enable you to just focus on those things. And when you sit down and you focus on just those things, your input increases, because you're not being pulled to also drive sales, chase that lead, or go cash that check. You're like,
it's the idea of specialization then, right? You've basically made like almost a conveyor belt of video production for your clients.
Yeah. It's funny because my team, when I first came on, I was like, look, I think of VidArmy in many ways as a factory. And they were like, whoa.
We're artists, man.
We're artists. You can't say that. And to me, it's more along the lines of how Dr. Seuss wrote Cat in the Hat. This might feel like a weird tangent, but for like 25 years, Dr. Seuss tried to write children's books, and he couldn't get anything published. Nobody wanted his work. And finally, I'm air quoting here, thought leaders in children's literacy came to him, and they were like, yo, Dr. Seuss, we want you to write a children's book that first and second graders can't put down. And he's kind of looks around like, yeah, I've been trying to do that for 30 years. Like, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And they said, well, we have an idea. We think that you should just use these words. And they sent him a list of, it was like 250 words or something that were first grade and second grade vocabulary. And they're like, don't use anything other than these words. And Dr. Seuss is creative. He's a creative genius, right? But what he found out is, wow, when he had some structure, it actually enabled him to be more creative. And Cat in the Hat was the first book that he published as an author, and it's the most read children's book of all time. And it's often accredited as the most creative children's book of all time. And yet he was given very, very strict parameters. So when I talk about VidArmy being a factory, I simply mean, look, we should make things really easy. We should make things simple. We should focus on the creativity instead of the process. So help us build a well-oiled process. Help us build a factory that can mass produce, but mass produce in a way that actually gives you the time and the freedom to tap into your creativity and push that envelope as far as possible.
I love it. I had a teacher, a professor who, I don't even remember, I think it was called the Build class at Brigham Young University. And he always would say that creativity loves constraint. If you ever want to build something beautiful, just make a line on the board and then use that to draw. Have somebody draw a squiggle and then make a picture out of that. If you're ever struggling to be creative, that's definitely a way to make it happen. So VidArmy is a system of processes with incredibly creative people that are built into each of the processes, so that when a client comes through the door, there's a very specific set of guidelines that designates how that person is moved through the process. Like, talk to me about when you first onboard with someone, how do you make sure that structure remains really solid when there's a bunch of creative people involved in the process? How do you make it almost standardized?
So this is one of the first, I think, risky things I did when I got here. VidArmy had grown and been successful off of one tagline, unlimited video for $499. And the truth is, I started looking into the data behind it, and I was like, yeah, this works, but like, it's actually not all that profitable the way that we're running it. And you're creating some false expectations, and you have customers that are unsure of how that works because there's no process in place. So then they're frustrated that they didn't get 10,000 videos. Like, let's not dip our toes into slowly transforming what we're offering. Let's just go for it. And what we did, and this felt risky because we literally didn't A/B test. We didn't even reach out to customers and ask. We're like, we just fundamentally believe that this is the right way to go, so we're going to go. And we said, look, let's have 3 different packages that we can offer, and we'll put customers they'll buy into these buckets, and then based on the bucket, they know what their constraints are and what their capabilities are. So when you buy a basic package, you get 1 hour in our studio, and any video that we film is a video that we edit. So if we can legitimately film 60 1-minute videos, then we'll edit 60 1-minute videos for you, and you can have those. Mm-hmm. And we'll do that for as little as $500. Now, if you need more time filming and you want something on location and you're a little bit more focused on having help with the pre-pro side, then we offer that. And we offer that for $1,000 for one shoot. And then we have clients that are like, look, we don't want to do anything. We're in New York City. We want to ship you our product or whatever it is. And we want you to do pre-production all the way to post-production, full service. We're like, great, we can do that. And we can do it for as cheap as $1,500. So we have these packages, and they're very set in what we do from an input standpoint. We do, so you get a very specific creative brief based on what package you buy. You're assigned a very specific producer or executive producer based on what package you buy. You get in studio or out of studio based on what package you buy. You get X number of revisions based on what package you buy. And then from there, our team is able to be very creative within those constraints and put together a whole host of videos for a whole host of clients. We do anything from like agency work where we are literally creating digital ads for digital marketing agencies that they turn around and use for their clients. We do things with doctors and dentists, or commercial good products, to tech companies. I mean, the customer base for us is all across the map, small businesses to large businesses, and pretty much every industry in between. So it's an interesting play, but that really worked. And what happened is, the way we set those packages up, we gave discounts based on how many shoots you'd buy at once. So it's almost like a Costco buy in bulk, you get the discount, right? So people were then turning around buying 12, 18, 24 shoots at $1,500 a pop. Like, okay, great. That's our video content for the year. And every month or every so many weeks, we'll get together and create new content so I can tell my story and grow my business. And I know what the budget is. I know what the spend is. It's a very different approach from where video production has been, because one, video production has almost been a race to the top. It was like a badge of honor to be able to say, I just closed $100,000 deal for a 3-minute video. Like, it's crazy. All these industries are a race to the bottom, and here video is a race to the top. Then the other piece is, a lot of agencies want to have a little bit of mystery behind the process and how they go about it and what you're going to get and what you're not going to get. And I think candidly that they want to do that to hide some of the steps to help elevate them and justify that price. And so these packages that we put together were like, we're not going to compete in a race to the top because we fundamentally believe it's the wrong thing to do. We're going to be very transparent with pricing. We're going to be very transparent with what you get. And we're going to be very transparent with how we work together. And if that's something you're interested in, great, let's work together. If it's not, there are really good agencies all up and down the Wasatch Front, or the US for that matter. Go work with them. We're totally cool with that. We're like, I text people at Harmon Brothers almost every day, and love those guys. I have nothing but good things to say
Yeah.
about them. It's just a different customer. To be totally honest, it's a different customer.
You said that was your first risky move, was kind of almost doing away with the tagline. It sounded like it was more of a segmentation activity, right? Like putting them into these buckets.
I think the risky move was we should be transparent with pricing and exactly what you get. And by doing so, we're going to create 3 packages that are just super straightforward. And we're going to offer bulk discounting if you buy in bulk. And I mean, look, our average contract value increased 8x in 1 month because of it.
Your average contract value increased 8x in 1 month because of those packages. Yes. I wonder if the same type of transparency and stuff could be applied to other agency practices, because I feel like we're pretty transparent in what we offer and how it works and everything. We show them exactly what it looks like, but there are others, like if I don't understand something like SEO or email marketing, like I don't know. I've interviewed people and I still don't even know. You mentioned that like direct to B2B and B2C, that those 2 types of markets and business models have been very different, and that it's probably time for B2B to start looking more like B2C. And that's where you guys are at, right? You're making your VidArmy process into like an easy type of checkout, like let's get this moving. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, so it was interesting. We have a CRO named John Hunter, who's just like, he's the greatest. And we started looking at building out our B2B pipe. And he comes from tech. I come from tech. I mean, I've been in tech where our pipeline was like 12 stages, right? And so we start building this out, and he and I are like kind of wrapping out about this conversation. It's like, well, wait, let's just think about the customer right now for a moment, because our sales guy, it's insane. When we get someone who's interested and we get on the call, we close 80% of our deals in a 15-minute phone call. Literally. We have an 80% close rate when we get someone on a call, and an average call is 15 minutes. So I'm like scratching my head, and I'm talking to John. I'm like, why in the hell are we building a funnel that's 12 stages? Like, our account executive is going through 11 of these stages in a 15-minute call. I get that that's how 30, 50, $100 million tech companies run their funnel, but should we do that? Like, it feels ridiculous.
It sounds influenced by Salesforce and HubSpot and Zoho and all those guys.
So our funnel is legitimately 3 steps now. It's MQL. We are putting in qualified leads. Like, they've interacted with a nurture stream email so many times, or they visited our website. They're in the sales pipeline. That's number 1. Number 2 is we have personally interacted with them on a phone call. And number 3 is we've sent them a contract. So our pipe, as soon as we did that, we started moving people even faster through the funnel, which was insane. But it started happening. And then I started getting this idea like, well, we've just made everything so complicated, right? Like, look, I come from 2 companies before VidArmy that it would take me 30 minutes to try to explain what we sold. Try to have somebody tell you what Wooly or Expert Voice sells, and it's going to take a long time because it's a complicated business. Well, VidArmy is not complicated. Like, when people ask me, what does VidArmy do? I'm like, we make videos.
Yeah. Well, can every business be distilled into something that can be pitched in 15 minutes, you think?
Any business I want to be a part of should. I've learned that much. I think so. I think you have to do that as a leadership team. You have to get it so simple that it could be a tweet. If you can't explain your business in a tweet, like, I'm not interested.
Without all the fancy, like, we're the most incredible, data-driven whatever that does this, and this for our customers. Without all that fancy
I could put in 25 different company names and that sentence works.
So give me some consulting then on this, because
So
BuyBox Experts, right? We're a listing optimization, account management, and advertising agency, but we also do like channel control, which is helping the brands manage, who is in the buy box on their listing. And we like call Amazon on their behalf, and we work with them on like developing their marketing strategy for each of their listings. We handle all their uploads. Like, I could go on and on, man. This is what I do all day. Like, I'm in B2B sales. This is my shtick.
Yeah.
So where do we start the simplification process for what seems to be a complicated agency process like BuyBox Experts?
Everything you just told me was the details of how you do what you do, but I still don't know why you do it. And I still don't know what the basic end goal is.
And
look, I'm stealing a line. I'm stealing that from Simon Sinek, but I think like you have to know your why, you have to know your what, and then you can talk about how you do all the things you do. But right there, you rattled off a bunch of things that you do, but I don't really. It was like how you do what you do.
Yeah, we help people increase their sales on Amazon. Yeah, that's not really a why though. A why is like, so what I've been asking people lately has been, why are you selling on Amazon, first of all? And they're usually like, oh, we want to increase sales for the business. And I say, why? And they go, well, we want to get to 10 million. And I'm like, okay, well, like why 10 million, or, whatever the number is. We eventually want to sell the company. And I'm like, aha. Amazon needs to represent how much of that revenue in order for you to be successful. And that's how we get to it. So would our why then be, we want to help people sell companies? We want to help people like have profitable exits? Or is it simpler than that, more complicated than that? What do you think?
I mean, look, if you ask me VidArmy's why, it's we believe in pushing beyond the status quo to move people. Everything we do, we want to do beyond the status quo. And why to me is very high level, whatever. But here's a great example. Last week, we ran an open casting call. We are a video production company, and we ran an open casting call, not for a specific video, but we were like, we have a lot of customers who need on-screen talent, and we have to work through agencies. And when we work through agencies, we have to pay the agency 15% to get us in contact with somebody. So the on-screen talent actually loses money, and then we actually just have other steps. What if we just had people in our own database that we knew wanted to be actors, and we just told them, look, we're going to pay you this much for every hour that you're on set every single time. And we're going to turn around and we're going to tell our customer, we pay on-screen talent this much, and your casting services to work with us is this much. And so we had a ton of people show up to this casting call. So excited about it. We had an agency call us, a talent agency call us. And the woman's was like, I need you to start respecting what we do and where we're at. And I kid you not, she ended up saying, well, if you keep doing this, you're going to put talent agencies out of business. And we were like, sounds like we're innovating and you're not.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, but like, I could either save 15% or I could give 15% to those actors, and they're going to want to work with me any day before they work with you. So
yeah,
okay.
Sounds like you're making
that's not my problem.
Right.
So internally for us, we're like, look, we want to push beyond the status quo to move people. And then we say, well, how, or what's the next piece? And for us, it's specifically, we want to make video accessible for everyone. And we do that by making it affordable, easy, and effective. And those are the things. And if I sit down and I start talking to an agency or a big brand or a small mom and pop startup, they're like, well, what is VidArmy all about? I'm like, we believe in making video accessible for you. Like, that's why we have compelling pricing. We make it really easy for you, and we're going to make video that works. And the next question they ask every time is, how do you do that? That's a great question. Instead of saying, look, what we do, well, we have our pre-production team that's going to sit down and do this, and we're going to go through this process, and then our filmers will show up and they'll do blah, 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 and they shoot in this.
So
and
is this the conversation?
The customer doesn't give two craps.
Is this what the sales rep is going through? You're saying they get on that call, that, ideally a 15-minute call with them, and they start, the first thing that they say is like, this is our thesis. And then they lead to the, well, how can you do that?
We follow a process that we created in-house called wrap out. So we're like, and we try to do all of this in 15 minutes. How do we quickly build a rapport with the customer?
Sure.
How do we assess their needs? So like, what is it you're trying to accomplish? What are the things you want to do? Then the P is we provide solutions. We're like, oh, based on what you want, you can do our in studio. It's as little as $500. Here's what it looks like. And then the O is we offer additional like solutions. Sorry. The P is we provide validation. Like, oh, we get that. We understand it. We have a ton of clients that do that sort of stuff. The O is we offer solutions based on clients like yours and the needs that you have. Here's what we do. And then we use U to upsell. And then T, we talk about next steps. So we quickly go through wrap out, and look, throughout that, yeah, we get them to understand we make video accessible to everyone, and it's these three pillars. So we try to be really, really simple. But to your question earlier, like, we are thinking about, if I go back to like, what's the risk and how are we making this more like a B2C company? It's just that, like, it only takes 15 minutes to close that sale. It is one call. Well, why couldn't we sell that without a 15-minute phone call? Why couldn't we sell that without ever talking to a sales rep? Everyone knows they need video. Our messaging is really simple. The plans are very well laid out, and pricing is upfront, and there's no like hidden fees. Well, then why couldn't we just sell it like a B2C company? So, legitimately, we've started doing research, and we've started looking at websites like Allbirds, Warby Parker, Adidas, Nike, Levi's, Apple, Stanley, Hydro Flask. And we're like, what are they doing to just convert people? They're not pandering the customer, trying to tell them, here's why you need a new pair of Nikes. They're like, here's our new Nikes. Which ones do you like? You need men's or women's, what size, what color? Here's how you check out. And we want to get it to like one click of a button, checkout. And people are buying it. And look, people are buying items like, I bought a Tesla on my phone without ever talking to someone. I spent that much money without talking to a sales rep because they made it that easy. Why can't I make buying video that easy? So we then start comparing it to tech companies like Qualtrics, InMoment, SAP, Domo, Weave, and it's like they're bearing their conversion because they feel like they have to educate. They feel like they have to show proof points, and they have to like have client testimonials and all this stuff up front. But like,
let me back up a second though, because is VidArmy a recurring charge or is it a one-time charge?
You can opt into a pay up front or pay monthly.
But there's no long-term commitment? No,
you can choose to do one shoot, or you can choose
like
to
spread it out over several.
Yeah.
Because Weave and Domo and stuff like that, you sign a contract with them. With BuyBox Experts, you sign a contract. And I think people are reluctant to make a quick decision if they have to do anything that's long-term. And so I'd be curious to see how the model of, quick B2C sales works with a long 12 to 24 month commitment. What do you think?
I think we should explore companies like BarkBox, Quip, any of these subscription-based companies that are exploding, that are B2C. Stance runs subscription-based for socks and underwear, for crying out loud.
Good old Taylor, if he's even still there.
And dude, like, you don't have to sign a contract for that, right? You're just like, I'm in, and when I'm out, I'm out.
Yeah.
But why do we put a contract in place?
I think that there's onboarding costs associated with it, right? Like doing a bunch of service up front for somebody costs a lot of money. And so if you can get them to stick around for 4 or 5 months, that offsets any onboarding costs that you might have. So you make money.
So add an onboarding cost to the one-time fee. Like add it put it in as an add-on like you would anything else on a Shopify cart. But literally we are in the process of building a Shopify website for our B2B sales model.
Yeah.
And to the point where we don't have 10,000 followers on Instagram yet, but because I use Shopify and I have a PDP for my basic package, I could literally run organic posts on Instagram with swipe up to buy now.
Well, I would want to see too, like how much does somebody self-educate themselves on the VidArmy website before they make a decision? You know what I mean? So it's literally like first contact. They become an MQL. They get into the sales process. It's 15 minutes, ideally. It's not always 15 minutes. I'm sure there's some people that have more questions than others.
When we do, the more expensive our deals, the more it takes. But look, we're selling like 12 shoot pro packages that are $1,500, where people are buying all 12 shoots up front, and it's a 15 to 30 minute phone call. It's an $18,000 spend, and they're like, yeah, we're in.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
So I think, and look, it's like, hey, here's the website, and if that doesn't work, here's how you can contact our sales team.
Right. Yeah.
And
is the
we'll
Shopify live for VidArmy yet? Can somebody go to VidArmy and buy via Shopify right now? Can they,
No.
Right? It's not set up yet.
Now that said, we're on WordPress. Our site is atrocious. But for a long while, we had an e-com bundle that we were offering, and we've never pitched that on our own. And we were closing deals every single day on a $99 e-com or $199 e-com bundle. So it's there. People are coming to the site and already buying. But and look, this is a risk. When I've talked to my marketing friends, a good number of them are like, oh, you're B2B, man. It's different. You're making some weird assumptions about your customers. I wouldn't do this. I'm on that freaking train, man. We're building it. And I could be totally wrong. But Levi, myself, and John Strang, we are on this mission to try to make VidArmy. Look, if we go back to pushing beyond the status quo, maybe we should try to make buying video even easier than it's been. If we're thinking about making video accessible to everyone by making it affordable, well, check, we've done that. Simple. Maybe this is a way we could even make it more simple. So we're going to give it a run and see what happens. But I'm hell-bent that our customers are showing us enough signs right now that they would be willing to and excited to buy without ever talking to us. And look, I do think that there are some companies that are close to this. Like, have you heard of Design Pickle?
No.
Design Pickle runs unlimited graphic design for as little as like $380 a month. And you go to their page and they have pricing, and you can see 3 different pricing models. You can click it, enter in your credit card number, and boom, they'll introduce you to your creative director.
Very interesting.
That's an Inc. 500 company now.
How long have they been around?
If they're Inc. 500, at least 5 years.
Right on. Well, we're running out of time here, Nick. Where can I send people to get in contact with you and your sales team?
Yeah, I mean, go to our crappy website now. Before the end of the year, we'll have a Shopify website that you can go buy that on your own. But look, we're down. Email nick@vidarmy.com, and I'll get you in touch with the right person.
Right on. Perfect. Nick, thank you so much for coming on the show. Go to vidarmy.com, reach out to him and his team there, email him at nick@vidarmy.com. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks, man. You're awesome.
To finish today's podcast, I want to share some final thoughts. For brands to be successful on Amazon, a critical lever will be launching and managing Amazon advertising campaigns. We at BuyBox Experts are really big fans of the team at Kenshu. This sophisticated software helps brands to manage ad campaigns and gather further data intelligence across Amazon, Google, and Facebook platforms. We're excited that you joined us today. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the BuyBox Experts podcast. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web, and we'll see you next time.